I feel ridiculous.
Alright guys, welcome back to AGEX'S Extreme. Today we're going to go ahead and do a Q&A video, so stay tuned. So, we do have some questions. I have some questions from you guys asking me about the channel, and he also has some questions for me. We all have them on our paper here. So we're going to go ahead and answer them to the best that I can, what I would recommend, and give you guys some tips here on what do I recommend for certain stuff. So he has the questions here. And he's going to go ahead and start asking them to me.
Alright, bro, you going to introduce me? No. No? Okay. Alright. What is your favorite pellet to use for coyote hunting?
Well, that's kind of tough, guys. You know, air guns are really not made for coyote hunting. You know, because coyotes are real smart animals. They got good noses, they got good ears. And trying to get in within, 50 yards of them is pretty hard enough. So I would, if anything, if you are going to shoot the coyotes, I'd probably recommend a 25 cal or 30 cal, or the bigger bore. I wouldn't go with a little 177. I wouldn't go with a 22. That's just my opinion. You guys may think something else, but that's just me.
All right.
AGEX'S Extreme is brought to you by
Buckmaster Outdoors, racking up them points.
Shoot to Kill Outdoors. We're whacking them and stacking them.
And you're watching AGEX'S Extreme.
What caliber gun do you recommend for coyote hunting?
Well, basically, again, like in the first question, the gun that I'd recommend here in Michigan, down in my area, we are limited firearm. So I can't really use a 30-06, 308, 22-250. Can't use 30-06 and those big guns. So we are limited to the firearms. So if anything, I'd recommend a 22 LR or 17 HMR or a shotgun. Those are probably the best bet for coyote hunting down here in this area.
All right. What kind of bullet do you recommend for hunting? Polytip, hollow point, dome, or regular point?
So you got 5 different points, or 5 different pellet shapes. You got dome, hollow point, and pointed. And every brand varies in weight and grains. There's different brands out there. Every company out there on the market has their dome, has their hollow points, has their pointed. It all depends on what I am going to shoot. If I'm small game hunting, I love CROSSMAN pellets. Those are the main pellets that I mostly use.
Alright. Have you and would you recommend lead-free pellets?
No, the problem is with the lead-free pellets is they're lightweight, and their velocity is well on them, but down range, past 30 to 40 yards, they start losing velocity, and sometimes they'll start tumbling because they're so light that lead at 40, 30, 50, and 100 stays the same. Lead-free is basically, it's lighter, so it loses its speed.
Alright, so how's your squirrel season going?
Alright, so my squirrel season's,
sucks, right?
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it sucks. Our season opened up September 15th. And I was hunting for almost every day. And through September through October, I wasn't seeing the squirrels. No matter where I would go, was not seeing them. I went to state land, my buddy's private property. I went to behind my house hunting. I went to all over. Still couldn't see a squirrel. Never found one. Never shot one. November come around, December come around, and finally I was starting to see squirrels. And it's been one of them seasons, guys, where it's been tough. My backwoods has been ridiculous. Have not seen them. Now we do have a bigger problem now. Maybe I'll explain it in the end of this video what's going on right now, because they ain't showing up with these suckers being around. So my squirrel season is definitely gone to shame this season. So for videos on the channel for squirrels, you guys are not really going to see them this year, because it's, you know, I'm not seeing the squirrels. Yeah, it is, you know, February now. We have, you know, a couple more weeks left of the season. You know, you're just not going to really see the squirrel hunting clips.
Alright. Would you recommend PCP gun or a break barrel?
There's a big argument with this between the break barrels and the PCPs. Break barrels are accurate, but there requires one thing. And the one thing is about the break barrels is you gotta hold them a different way than you would any other gun. A lot of people, and myself, when I first got my break barrel, first ever break barrel, I held it just like I would a shotgun. Held it tight up to my shoulder. I'm like, okay, this sucker, you know, because a shotgun and a rifle, they kick.
Yeah.
And basically with a break barrel, that's not the case. You do not want to hold it tight to your shoulder and snug it. Break barrel's got the forward and back recoil. When you shoot, you can't tell yourself, but when you shoot, the break or the spring inside the gun actually goes forward and then back. The pellet, when it's going down the barrel, when it gets to a certain point into the barrel, your gun, you may feel a little bit, but actually goes forward, and then once the pellet is out the barrel, then you feel a little bit of the kickback. And if you hold it snug, your spring, you're going to lose accuracy, because every time you hold it, your pellet, your point of impact's going to change, because it depends on the grip. So there's a new saying out there, it's called the artillery hold. The artillery hold, it's basically you're going to hold it like you would an egg in your hand. You don't want to sit there and squeeze it. You just want to basically let the gun almost just fall out of your hand when you shoot. The PCPs, on the other hand, they're like 22s. They're like any other gun. You could just hold it and shoot. It's basically a point and aim with the PCP. So I would definitely recommend a PCP if you're, you know, want to get someone into it. There are some cheaper PCPs on the market, and there's, you know, some cheaper break barrels, but in my own eyes, I would definitely recommend probably a PCP.
So would you rather recommend a $1,500 air gun, or would you rather go down to somewhere near $100, $200 air gun?
So there is out there, there's break barrels, and there's PCPs on the market, and there's some break barrels that are about as pricey as a PCP. There's just one PCP on the market now, or a break barrel, that costs about as high as a high-end PCP. So basically, you know, afford what you can. I have a $200 PCP right now, and I tell you guys, that thing is a little tack driver. And you know, if compared to a $1,500 PCP, there's going to be a big difference. You know, it depends on the pellets, but afford what you guys can. You know, I can only afford that $250 PCP. So, you know, do what you guys have to. If you can't afford a PCP, go with a break barrel. Just get into it. You guys don't have to get right into the hunt right away. Go ahead and just start shooting some cans, shooting some targets. If you have young ones, just go ahead and get them into it, and then eventually they're going to work their way up to a PCP. Then you're going to be able to get them one, and then by the time they get to that PCP, they're already going to know what to do, and they're going to be having so much more fun.
Yeah. So, would you rather recommend coyote hunting in the day or at night?
So, there's another thing about the coyote hunting. Coyotes, they got good noses, they got good ears, and they got everything that you can think of.
Yeah, they got a lot of heightened senses rather than dogs and stuff.
Yeah, they're in a wild 365 days a year. You know, and they're not like your regular dog. These coyotes, they're living out in this weather. You know, they gotta eat, they gotta feed, they gotta get watered. You know, they're hungry. They gotta keep moving, especially here in the wintertime here in Michigan. So basically, coyotes, you know, they move during the day, but they move better at night. You'll see them first thing early in the morning, and then you'll see them right before dark, and then the most time that they are active is right after dark. And that brings me to another point in this video, that I've been having a big coyote problem, and it's to the point now where I don't know what to do. I don't know if we should set some traps or if I should go ahead and shoot them. I've been trying to hunt them. Me and him were hunting them last night, and we actually had coyotes come in.
Yeah.
But they got spooked.
Yeah.
So they caught wind of us. So I don't know if we should keep hunting them or if we should start trapping them. But I want you guys to give me an opinion on what should we do here.
Yeah, you know, if you got any good ideas, let us know, and we'll try to figure it out, see what's the best option, you know?
Yeah, because right now the hunting source is not working out as good as I thought it would. You know, there's some ways that we could get down to this. We're actually going to attempt it again tonight for a little bit and see if maybe tonight's going to be the night where we start popping these suckers. I have a bunch of trail cam photos of them all over the place back there. You know, maybe in the next video I'll go ahead and pop them up into the video. So basically, you know, the coyote hunting is definitely better at nighttime.
Alright, so what kind of scope would you recommend for coyote hunting? What kind of scope would you recommend for shotgun shooting?
So the scope, you know, again, there's scopes out there that cost anywhere from $100 all the way up to $1,000. You know, it all depends on what you like. Basically, what you'd have to do is you would have to go out and you would have to look at the scope. You know, a shotgun scope has got to be rated for a shotgun. You can't put a 22 long rifle scope or rimfire scope on each shotgun because the shotgun's got kick. A 22 LR doesn't have kick. So you got to make sure whatever gun you're going to put that scope on, you know, you got to make sure that it's going to work with that gun, you know, because of the kick. So the scope that I would probably recommend, there's probably 3 brands I would recommend: Hawk, Nikon, and oh god, what's the other name? Simmons. And those are the 3 scopes that I would probably recommend to start out with. You know, I've had good luck with all of them. Now with my air guns, that's a different story. With my air guns, I go with center point scopes. They're better quality for the air guns. You know, you can't, there's no sense of putting on a 4x16 by 50 power scope on an air gun, because you're not going to be taking those 100 to 200 to 300 yard shots. So Nikon, Hawk, and Simmons are the 3 top.
How far were you able to shoot with a PCB gun accurately?
So it depends on the pellet, and it depends on the grain of the pellet. You know, like I said earlier in the video, that there's the 4 top pellets. You got pointed hollow points and dome, and then the polymer tip ones. So basically, PCP or air gun, considering, because a PCP is considered an air rifle, let's put it as that. You know, a PCP, yeah, I could shoot out to 100. I wouldn't go past 100. Break barrel, I'd probably stay within 50 yards of the range.
So what kind of shotgun shots would you recommend for coyote hunting?
Well, you got a bunch of different shells. You got your buckshot, you got your slugs, and you got your birdshot. And then you got a bunch of other buckshots on the market. You got triple aught, you got number 4, number 3s, all the way down to number 0 buck. But your buckshots are basically, for close range. My 870 right now, shooting double aught, is accurate out to 75 yards. But then again, it depends on the choke tube. So if I were you guys, I would, if you're planning on shooting the buckshot, I would go out to like an open field or go to somewhere where you could shoot and set up a big target. Buy that buckshot, buy the choke, and put shells in your gun and just test fire it. Start all the way from 20 yards all the way back to 80 yards. Figure out the distance for that gun. That's for buckshot. Same thing with a slug. If you're going to use slugs, you have to sight it in. Slugs are going to be able to travel out to 100 yards. If I can't get that coyote with buckshot, my other option would be slug. There's no way you're going to be able to shoot birdshot. Birdshot is smaller than buckshot, so the birdshot will actually open up wider than the buckshot would travel. If you have that coyote come in to 10 to 5 yards, birdshot's going to do it. Then again, it's all up to you guys. I mean, I would definitely recommend either double aught or triple aught. There's some new buckshot out there on the market from Hornady, the nickel-plated Coyote Magnum. Those are good. Those are nickel-plated BBs. So it depends on the gun, what your gun likes. Definitely go out and pattern it with the choke tubes.
Yeah, so I personally have seen some of your videos, and some of them are not the best sounding. So are you going to plan on doing anything soon about that, or what?
Yeah, I get a lot of questions, guys, or not just questions, but in my own eyes, I know there's a lot of my videos that are the quality and the sound quality is not the best. Here's the problem. When I first started out the channel, I never had the camera I have now. I had a old little Samsung camera, and the quality of the video was not in 1080. These cameras, or this camera now, shoots in 1080 pixel. So the quality of now the videos are way better, and sometimes when I'm out hunting, sometimes I don't want to talk real loud. And a lot of times when I'm out hunting, like small game, coyotes, deer, I don't want to sit there and talk like I am now. Because first off, it's going to spook away the animals. So a lot of times I'll use the GoPro when I'm hunting. So there's definitely a difference between the GoPro volume or quality over this camera. So I am going to work on it with the camera situation. I'm trying, when I edit the videos, there is a sound change on the editing software. So I am working on it. We're going to get down to the point now where with this camera shooting in 1080, the quality and the volume is going to be really better than with the GoPro itself. I could set up the GoPro right here next to the camera, and the quality is going to sound like it would in the video with the GoPro. This camera quality is just amazing.
Alright, first and final question. How was your deer season?
Well, deer season's over, guys. And here in Michigan, it's been over for a while. This deer season, it was fun. Ran into a problem. This property I was hunting was alright. Me and my buddies were out scouting. We had permission to hunt this property. And out of nowhere, a couple weeks into archery season. So our archery season opened up October 1st. So we went out a few weeks before opening day, set up our tree stands, all getting ready, you know, for those opening day hunts. I had my crossbow dialed in, getting all, you know, set up, getting tree stands, getting trail cams out, bait piles out, doing all that. Spent maybe 2 days doing all that, cutting down trees, hanging tree stands, setting up ground blinds, you know, doing all that, all the maintenance work that you would do when you set up a tree stand. And towards the end of October, almost going into gun season, we ran into a problem. And that problem was, the owner of that property, actually that property was up for sale. And at that moment, the owner of that property said, I sold the property. And at that moment, me and my buddies were all like, you gotta be joking. He's like, no, it's sold. He said, you guys gotta go back there, get your tree stands. So I ended up with a deer out of there. But it, you know, I didn't get to hunt it enough to actually be able to, you know, see the deer quality. I ended up with a doe out of there. My other buddy shot a doe out of that property. And then my other buddy that was hunting there with us shot a little 4-point. So that basically just ruined the whole deer season from there because I had nowhere else to hunt.
Alright guys, if you got any more questions, comment below, ask us anything you would like, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Alright guys, thanks for watching Air Guns Extreme. We'll see you guys at the next one.